variables contain something that is not equal. So let me just show you a simple example. So I have got maybe I can use numeric values instead of string values so that it becomes easier. So let me create two variables called first number 1, another variable called second number 2. So I have got two variables containing two integer values. Now I'm going to use the equality operator to check whether the values inside both of those variables are equal or not. So I'm going to use the first variable's name, and then I'm going to use the equality operator. So the equality operator, always remember that the equality operator uses 2 equals to sign. And then I'm going to call the second number variable. So if they are equal, then I'm going to say console. I'm going to just print out a message. I'm going to say they are equal. Now here is the interesting part. I'm going to add another else clause. Don't worry about this. I'm going to explain this after I show you the output or the message that we will be getting. So they are not equal. So our example is complete, and let's save this. Let's open up our command prompt. Let's bring it up. Let's clean this up, and let's run this file. Okay, we have compiled it. Now we are ready to run the executable. So now we see something that shows us a message. So I guess I made a little mistake in my English. Let's rerun this. Okay, let's compile it first, then let's run the executable. Now it's perfectly alright. So the first thing that I've done in this simple script is that I have declared and initialized two new variables called the first number variable that contains the integer value of 1, and I have declared and initialized another variable called the second number variable that contains the value of 2. Both of them are integer variables. They have got the data type of an int. I guess you remember that. And then I have included a control structure. Now this is the most interesting part, because this control structure is a little different than what we have discussed earlier. Why? Because the first thing that I'm doing in here is that I'm calling the first variable's name, and then I'm retrieving the value of 1. Then I am calling the second variable's name, and I'm retrieving the value of 2 from this second number variable. And then when my compiler retrieves both the values, what it does, it replaces those values, those variable names with their corresponding value. So when the compiler has retrieved the value of 1 from the first number variable, it will replace this name with the number 1. Then it looks onto the right hand side. So on the right hand side, it has got the second number variable, and it retrieves the value of 2 from this second number variable. So when it retrieves the value, it then replaces the variable name, this variable's name, with its corresponding value. So the corresponding value is 2. So now it becomes easier for the compiler to do the computation. I'm just showing you for the demonstration purpose, because that's how the compiler works behind the scenes. We can't see that, but the computation or the calculation is done just like that. So it's going to compare this 1 with 2. So 1 is equals to 2, so that doesn't make sense. So that condition is actually false. So in this context, in this condition, this is a Boolean expression. Inside this condition, you need to provide a Boolean expression. A Boolean value will always be either true or false. But in this context, in the context of if statement, your condition must always evaluate to true. So if I revert back to my original script, so first number variable must be equals to second number variable, because I've used the equality operator. If the first number variable is actually equals to 2, if the first number variable is actually equals to the second number variable, then and only then your compiler will execute this single statement inside this curly braces. So this is the opening curly brace, and this is the ending curly brace for this if statement. So this first if statement contains a condition and curly braces. Now this curly braces, this highlighted